You'll never be the 1%, not because you're incapable, not because you're unlucky, but because you keep choosing the life of the 99%. And deep down, you know it. The 1% wake up while everyone else is sleeping. The 1% work while everyone else is complaining. The 1% stay disciplined while everyone else follows feelings. That's the difference. Not talent, not luck, discipline. But most people will never accept this truth, because accepting it means taking responsibility. And responsibility is heavy. It's easier to blame the world, to blame your past, your situation, your lack of motivation. But none of that changes anything. Because at the end of the day, your life reflects your habits, nothing else. Look at your routine honestly. How many hours do you waste scrolling? How many times do you delay what needs to be done? How many promises have you made to yourself and broken? That's why you're stuck, not because life is unfair, but because your discipline is weak. Harsh, maybe, but truth doesn't care about comfort, and comfort is exactly what's destroying you. Most people are addicted to comfort, easy entertainment, easy excuses, easy dopamine. They want success without sacrifice, respect without discipline, results without consistency. But life doesn't work like that. The 1% understands something the average person never will. Every reward has a price, and that price is discomfort. Waking up early when you don't feel like it, working when you're tired, staying focused while others are distracted. That's the price, and most people won't pay it. That's why they stay average. This is why Epictetus said, "No great thing is created suddenly." But people today want everything instantly. Instant success, instant results, instant transformation. And when it gets difficult, they quit. Because they were never in love with discipline, only motivation. And motivation is weak. It disappears the moment life gets hard. But discipline remains, even on bad days, especially on bad days. That's what separates the 1% from everyone else. The ability to act without needing to feel good first. Now listen carefully. Your biggest enemy is not failure. It's distraction. Because distraction makes you feel busy, while your life stays the same. Every notification, every scroll, every wasted hour, it steals your focus, and focus is power. The 1% protect their focus like their life depends on it, because it does. While average people consume, the 1% create. While average people talk, the 1% execute. While average people wait for the perfect moment, the 1% move anyway, and over time, that difference becomes massive. But here's the painful part. Most people don't actually want greatness. They like the idea of it. They like watching motivational videos. They like imagining success. But when it's time to sacrifice comfort, they disappear because they want the reward without becoming the person who deserves it. And life never works that way. You don't become strong by wishing for strength. You become strong by carrying heavy things, mentally, emotionally, physically. That's why struggle matters. That's why pain matters. Because pain reveals who you really are. Weak people run from discomfort. Strong people grow through it. So ask yourself honestly, when life gets hard, who do you become? Do you stay disciplined? Or do you collapse into excuses? Because that answer determines your future. There's another reason you'll never be the 1%. You care too much about other people, their opinions, their approval, their validation, and that makes you weak. Because the moment you live for applause, you stop living for purpose. The 1% are often misunderstood. They work in silence. They stay focused. They disappear for long periods while everyone else is distracted, and people call them obsessed. But obsession is required because average effort creates average results. You cannot live like everyone else and expect a different life That's delusion. If you want what few people have, you must become someone few people are willing to become. Disciplined, focused, relentless, and lonely at times, because growth requires separation. You will outgrow people, outgrow habits, outgrow distractions. That's part of the process. But most people are too afraid to separate from comfort. So they stay stuck year after year. Same mindset, same excuses, same life. And one day, regret hits them, not because they failed, but because they never tried hard enough. That's the real pain, knowing you could have become more, but chose comfort instead. So stop lying to yourself. Stop saying you want greatness while living with average habits. Your actions reveal the truth, not your words. If you truly want to become the 1%, then act like it. Wake up with purpose. Control your mind. Protect your focus. Stay disciplined when nobody's watching. And most importantly, keep going when it gets hard. Because that's the moment most people quit. And that's exactly why they never make it. The 1% are not superhuman. They simply do what others refuse to do. Consistently, without excuses, without waiting, without stopping. So the question is not, can you become the 1%? The question is, are you willing to live differently enough to deserve it? Now here's the truth nobody wants to hear. Becoming the 1% is not about doing something incredible once. It's about doing ordinary things with extraordinary consistency. That's it. And that's why almost nobody makes it. Because consistency is boring. It's repetitive. It requires discipline, even when there's no reward. And most people can't handle that. They need excitement, instant results, constant motivation. But the people who truly win in life operate differently. They understand that success is built in silence, in routines, in daily habits nobody applauds. While others are distracted, they stay focused. While others chase entertainment, they chase progress. And over time, that gap becomes impossible to ignore. This is why the 1% look different, not because they were born special, but because they trained themselves to tolerate what average people avoid: discomfort, pressure, loneliness, sacrifice. Most people want comfort every single day. But comfort and greatness cannot live together. Every time you choose comfort, you move further away from your potential. And the dangerous part is, comfort feels harmless. One lazy morning, one wasted day, one excuse doesn't seem serious, but repeated daily, it destroys your future. This is how average lives are created, not through one massive failure, but through small acts of weakness repeated for years. That's why discipline matters so much, because discipline protects your future from your temporary emotions. Your feelings will change daily. Some days you'll feel motivated. Some days you'll feel tired. Some days you'll want to quit. But discipline doesn't care about feelings. It cares about action. That's why disciplined people keep moving, even when their emotions tell them not to. And that ability alone separates them from almost everyone else. Another reason most people never reach the 1% is because they fear failure too much. They overthink everything. What if I fail? What if people judge me? What if it doesn't work? So they never begin. And years later, they stay trapped in the same place. Understand this clearly. Failure is not what destroys people. Fear does. Fear keeps people average. Fear keeps people comfortable. Fear keeps people small. But the 1% act despite fear. They move before they feel ready, because they understand something powerful. Confidence does not come before action. It comes after action. You build confidence by proving to yourself, again and again, that you can do hard things. This is why self-respect is earned, not through words, through discipline. Every time you keep your word to yourself, you become stronger, and every time you break it, you weaken your identity. That's why small promises matter. Waking up when you said you would, finishing what you started, staying focused when distractions appear. These small victories quietly transform you, because the 1% are built through small disciplined actions, repeated relentlessly. Now let's talk about another harsh truth. Most people waste too much energy trying to look successful. Instead of becoming successful, they post too much, talk too much, announce every goal. But real growth happens privately, in silence, away from attention. Because when you're truly focused, you don't need validation. You're too busy building, and that's why disciplined people often seem distant. Not because they hate people, but because they protect their energy, their time, their focus. They understand that every distraction has a cost, and the cost could be your future. Look at society today. Everyone is distracted. Attention spans are weak. People cannot sit alone with their thoughts for even 5 minutes. That's dangerous, because if you cannot control your attention, you cannot control your life. The 1% know this. That's why they train focus daily. They read while others scroll. They work while others procrastinate. They improve while others complain. And over time, their entire life changes, not overnight, but gradually. That's how real transformation works, slowly, quietly. Then suddenly everyone notices, and people will call them lucky. But they never saw the sacrifices, the discipline, the lonely mornings, the painful consistency. They only saw the result. But you now understand the truth. The 1% are not lucky. They are disciplined. They are focused. They are willing to suffer today for a better future tomorrow. And the question is, are you? Because becoming the 1% requires sacrifice. You will lose comfort. You may lose people. You will lose old habits. But in return, you gain control, purpose, strength, freedom. And that trade is worth everything. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting for motivation. Because the perfect moment never comes. There is only now, this moment, this decision, to either continue living like the 99% or separate yourself through discipline. Because at the end of the day, your future is not decided by your dreams. It is decided by your habits, daily habits, repeated consistently. That is what creates greatness. So if you truly want more from life, then demand more from yourself, starting today, not tomorrow, not next week, today. Because every day you delay, the weaker your excuses become. And deep down, you already know what needs to change. The real question is, will you finally do it?